Good Saturday evening, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, joining you from the newsroom. You probably already know at this point we do not have an early evening newscast over the air due to more college football. So hopefully you are joining me this evening, maybe on your streaming device, on your phone. I've got all the latest information in terms of our short-term forecast and also what's going on in the tropics. We're keeping a close eye out on a tropical wave that's way down there in the southern Gulf of Mexico that could become a tropical depression over the next few days. In fact, the National Hurricane Center has bumped up those chances, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. But some good news is that tonight into tomorrow, the weather is looking fantastic, especially if you are a fan of fall-like weather. We're finally going to be getting a little bit of a taste of that overnight tonight into Sunday morning. So let's check it out. Tonight's forecast, fairly calm in terms of any rainfall. Most of the rainfall today has been way offshore. Not really expecting much rain tonight. At the very most, a few stray showers along the coast, but we have some drier air moving in from the north, and that's lowering our humidity, and we're also going to be cooling down by Sunday morning with temperatures in the 60s. Low of 68, that's the forecast for Gulfport. If you live a little bit farther inland or also in some low-lying areas, chances are you're going to be just a bit cooler than that. So across South Mississippi tomorrow morning, near the sunrise, you're probably going to be in the mid to upper 60s, which for other parts of the country, that's maybe not something too drastic, but as we know around here, that's pretty nice, especially that lower dip in the humidity. So something to look forward to if you're going to be up tomorrow morning. Great morning to take a walk, take your dog out on a walk, head down to the beach, get some yard work done. Rain chances tomorrow morning looking pretty slim. And throughout the day tomorrow, not bad at all. Now, I do expect to see a little bit more sunshine tomorrow. Again, not a bad thing. We need to dry out a little bit at this point. And that will warm us back up into the mid to upper 80s in the afternoon. But overall tomorrow, the humidity, not too bad, at least for our standards. It will be a little bit higher compared to the morning once we get into the afternoon. But again, not a bad forecast whatsoever for your Sunday. So another nice day to be outside. I know our yards could be a little bit soggy, especially for those on the coast, but all in all, nice day to get out and enjoy the weather. This evening, most of the rain has been well offshore at this point. We've kept a good bit of cloud cover in place today. That kept our temperatures down a little bit in the low to mid 80s for the most part. And we'll see some of those clouds linger overnight tonight. But we've got that cold front working its way through as we speak, and that's going to be ushering in some of that drier air to the north. Well to our north, we can see dew points in the 40s and the 50s. Some of that dry air will be working its way in late tonight, and so waking up tomorrow morning, it is going to be feeling a lot more refreshing outside. Maybe not a huge drop in those temperatures, but hey, the 60s sounds pretty nice to me. So we have two boundaries nearby. The first one has stalled out over the Gulf of Mexico. That's where we see all of that rainfall, a lot of that moisture. This cold front is knocking on our doorstep. That will kind of fade away as it moves farther to the south, but at least we're getting enough of a push to get that slightly cooler and drier air. We can see to the north of that, not a ton in the way of cloud cover. Still could see a few clouds here or there tomorrow, not going to be ruling that out. But I do expect to see a little bit more sunshine, especially with that drier air. I'll say this, enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to be lasting too long. By the end of Monday, starting to feel a little bit more muggy. We're going to see some more of that tropical moisture moving in from the Gulf of Mexico, and there is a good chance we're going to be seeing more rainfall and higher humidity by Tuesday and Wednesday of this upcoming week. But throughout the rest of the weekend, we are on easy street. Should be beautiful for the most part. This run of Futurecast showing some of those clouds breaking apart a little bit more in the afternoon. That will at least allow us to warm up into the mid to upper 80s. But that moisture starts to return back to the north by Monday and into Tuesday, and that's when our rain chances will increase. Monday, only a few spotty showers expected, especially closer to the coast. We'll have a better chance of seeing some showers on Tuesday, and maybe even some heavy downpours with some of this moisture moving back in from the Gulf of Mexico. And it is tied into what's going on in the tropics. So that's the other thing I really want to focus on in our forecast this upcoming week. Elsewhere in the tropics, we have 2 other areas in the Atlantic. Not much of a concern for us at this time. National Hurricane Center gives them a medium chance of development, but this tropical wave in the southern Gulf of Mexico now has a high chance of development. We just got in the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. They're giving it about a 60 to 80% chance over the next 2 to 7 days, and it is expected to slowly move northward over the next 24 to 48 hours. Steering currents at this time looking fairly weak, and at this point, it's fairly disorganized. We're seeing some thunderstorm activity associated with that, but doesn't have a well-defined center of circulation at this time. So forecast models we still need to take with a grain of salt. That being said, when I looked at some of the spaghetti plots today, these plot the estimated track of where the system may go. They're in decent agreement, showing this system moving up throughout the western Gulf of Mexico to the north, and then possibly approaching either the Texas or southwest Louisiana coast by Wednesday and Thursday of this upcoming week. Now, because it hasn't formed yet, we still really need to pay attention to this for any changes with some of our forecasts and guidance models. But I am showing this to show you that, generally speaking, at this time, things are indicating that it may be moving up closer to Texas and Louisiana. And the reason why is, it looks like this ridge of high pressure is going to start to get a little bit stronger by Monday and Tuesday of this upcoming week. What that's going to do is to help to steer the system farther up to the north and a little bit more so to the west as that ridge gets a little bit stronger. Then once it gets closer to land, or I should say the northern Gulf Coast, that ridge could weaken just a little bit, and it may be making just a tiny bit of a curve to the north and east just before making landfall. But overall, that's the general tropical steering winds or steering patterns that we're looking at, that ridge of high pressure in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So if this plays out, we may not get as many impacts in terms of wind. That being said, still looking at a lot of moisture associated with this system moving up through the northern Gulf of Mexico, and even on the fringe of that system, we could be seeing some of that deep tropical moisture. So this is showing some of the moisture forecasted to be in the atmosphere this upcoming week. Wherever we have that green color, that's a lot of moisture, which would translate to a lot of rainfall. And our rain chances are really looking the highest either on Wednesday or Thursday of this upcoming week, if this all plays out like we expect at this point. So with all that tropical moisture, that could lead to some heavy rainfall at times by the middle to end of this upcoming week. I know a lot of people have already picked up a decent amount of rain over the past few days. So this little dry spell that we're seeing this weekend, that's not going to be lasting long, it looks like, again, if this all plays out. So with some of those heavier downpours, that could increase our flooding risk. I wouldn't be surprised if we see our flooding risk increase by Wednesday, Thursday, maybe even Friday of this upcoming week. So this is from the Weather Prediction Center. They are showing what they forecast as far as rainfall amounts through about Wednesday and Thursday. At this point, if everything pans out the way we expect it, we could be picking up an additional 2 to 4 inches of rain here in South Mississippi. Of course, heavier rainfall likely across coastal Texas and Louisiana, where this system may potentially make landfall. And by the way, if it does become a tropical storm, the next name on the list is going to be Francine. You may be hearing that name thrown around a little bit more this upcoming week if this tropical wave gets its act together and develops a little bit more. But regardless of development, rain is going to be, once again, one of the bigger issues that we're going to be looking at here along the Gulf Coast. And even if it doesn't make landfall in South Mississippi, still looking at a lot of that moisture getting closer to us. So for now, we have our rain chances closer to 40% Wednesday and Thursday. There's a good chance that as we get more confident, those rain chances are going to be going up and up. I would expect that at this point. Of course, things could change, but overall, we are looking at that rainy pattern returning by the middle to end of the week. And even though today, forecast models hinting that it may be making landfall closer to Texas or southwest Louisiana, nothing guaranteed at this point. So we're still going to be closely watching this over the next couple of days as this tropical wave gets its act together a little bit more in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, if we do get more rainfall by Wednesday and Thursday, that would keep our temperatures down a little bit more with highs in the low 80s. Tomorrow could be one of the warmer days of the week, especially if we get a little bit more of that sunshine. But at least the humidity tomorrow, not bad at all. Should be feeling a lot more refreshing, especially in the morning. And even Monday morning, not bad. Temperatures still expected to be in the upper 60s inland, low 70s on the coast. But then with all that moisture, naturally things are going to be more humid. Heavy rainfall going to be a possibility on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll keep an eye out on what is known as Invest 91L. That's that tropical wave moving through the Gulf of Mexico. So that being said, not much to track at this point. There's not much development, but there's a good chance it is going to be developing either into a tropical depression or a tropical storm this upcoming week. So hopefully that gives everyone just a heads up on what's going on for the time being. We are scheduled to have a newscast this evening at 10 o'clock. You know, that does depend on how late some of these football games will be going, but we will be on the air at 10 o'clock this evening, ABC and CBS. But again, if you're tuning in right at 10 o'clock, still could be seeing some football games, but stick around. We will be on the air for that. So that being said, thank you for joining me this evening. Hopefully I gave everyone some insight a little bit more into what's going on. We will have the latest on our local forecast and what's going on in the tropics tonight at 10 o'clock. And if you're not able to catch us over the air, you can catch us online also on our live stream. So that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful Saturday evening and stay safe.